Hello, hello, and welcome to the March 2026 Just Sippin My Tea. Drinking out of my Howard fabulous mug that Starbucks put out. I think they've done a series for HBCUs. Um, Thank you, Dr. Keith Curry from Compton College, for getting that for me. I appreciate you. Going to ask everybody to make sure that you are resharing. Drop a question in the chat, but we're live streaming and we want people to join. So please reshare on all of your social media platforms. I'm Supervisor Holly Mitchell from the 2nd District, LA County proud. And this is Sippin My Tea, where I literally sip tea and we share tea about things that are relevant to you in LA County, specifically in the 2nd District. The tea I'm drinking today, if you don't know, I'm a tea drinker, and I'm so fortunate to have so many incredible options in the district. One is the tea company. My friend Noah, who I met through his sister, who's been my friend for 20 plus years, Adina. He's got this amazing company right here in the district. Today I'm drinking Frida Kahlo. Can you see that? Each tea bag has unique art. It's amazing. And this is hibiscus, rose hips, orange peel. Amazing. It's kosher. It's certified organic. But what I really love is the tea company produces something called the tea book. Is this fancy? And you open it up and it has all your selections of the teas the tea company produces. Isn't that amazing? So I think I featured the tea company and Noah before, but I'm sipping the tea today because it's Women's History Month. Thank you, Frida Kahlo. And in honor of Adina and Noah's brother, Micah, who recently passed. And I had the opportunity to sit Shiva with his wife and wonderful baby daughter and their family this weekend. So I'm sipping my tea in tribute to my friend's family and their amazing tea company. So sip some tea. That's what I'm sipping today. So earlier this month, I've got some great folks to introduce you to. I'm really excited. The board approved my motion to identify ways to expand what is currently a pilot in the Compton Court in the 2nd District countywide. And it's Hope Court. Hope is an acronym, and Hope stands for helping our, wait, let me get it right. Helping our parents excel. And it's a program that supports parents of young children early on, like prevention, to support them so families who may be experiencing a crisis, help them to avoid the foster care system. That's what I believe the foundational role of government should be, to help to truly be a safety net. And a safety net, if you envision a net, is to catch people before they fall, right? And so we've done several motions to really orient our departments to thinking in a prevention mode versus helping support families after the fact. And so that's really what the Hope Court is all about. It focuses on connecting families to resources, strengthening parent-child visitation, and addressing inequities, especially for communities disproportionately involved in our child welfare system. So today you're going to meet the two women, Happy Women's History Month, that make the Hope Court run. Please welcome Judge Ashley Price and her social worker who makes it all happen for the families in Hope Court, Tina Colon. Did I get it right, Tina? Tina Colon. Yes, and they're here to talk about their work they're doing in the program. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us, Supervisor Mitchell. Okay, we've
got Judge Price. It looks like you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can't hear you, but can you hear each other? We had this problem last time.
Yes.
Okay, so I hope you can hear each other.
Yes.
Tina, you can hear her, and you both can hear me. Okay, cool. So first of all, both of you, please share with me what tea you're drinking.
I'll go first. I am having some turmeric ginger tea this morning, and the packaging indicates that it's going to be awakening and revitalizing. So I'll keep you posted on whether that works or not, but definitely getting the benefits of both the turmeric and the ginger.
And I'm wishing
And Tina, what you drinking?
I wish I had some tea, but right now just some water. I'm recovering from a cold, so I think just keeping it simple and hydrated might be the way to go right now.
Excellent, excellent. I appreciate you both. Let me get started with you, Judge Price. Um, you are the assistant supervising judge presiding over dependency cases with a focus on families with children under 3, which I think is a unique and wonderful specialty. And Tina is a proud Compton native and the community coordinator for Hope Court. She works to create meaningful and supportive environments for families involved in the dependency system. When I had the opportunity to come and tour the court there we are touring with Brandon Nichols, the director of DCFS. What struck me was it didn't look like your atypical courtroom. Coming from my early care and education background, I deeply appreciated and valued seeing the child focus of the courtroom, everything from the height of the chairs and the distance that you sit, Judge Price, from the families and the kids. Talk to me a little bit about what happens in the courtroom, and how you helped make Hope Court come to life, Judge Price.
Well, Supervisor Mitchell, thank you so much for having us and really shining a light on the hard work that our attorneys and social workers and Tina does every day. We feel so lucky to be in Hope Court, trying to help support our families. As you mentioned, we really tried to transform the environment to make it more family friendly and frankly, less threatening. It's really nerve wracking and stressful when parents have to come to court. And so to the extent that we could make an environment that made them feel a bit more relaxed under very stressful circumstances was one of our goals. I think that theme kind of continues into the courtroom where we try and make an environment where they feel empowered to speak up, where they feel heard and supported by their attorneys. We've created even the furniture so that we can sit in a semicircle and really come to the table literally and figuratively together to try and brainstorm what's going on with the family and how we can help stabilize things. As you know, our courtroom serves the 6 zip codes closest to the Compton courthouse. So we were really intentional about creating a courtroom that was accessible to the community, where they could come in person to ask for help, to get support from Tina. When we looked at the data, we had the opportunity to open one courtroom here in Compton. Most of our courtrooms, as you know, are in Edelman and Monterey Park. But the data revealed to us that we had enough DCFS involved families in Compton Carson office for 5 courtrooms. So when we realized that we would only get one, we really wanted to create a courtroom that was going to lead to the biggest impact. And so we thought, what is the most vulnerable time for children and what is the most vulnerable time for parents? And that's a new addition to the family. Those children are obviously nonverbal, so they're quite vulnerable. And we have a lot of young parents, first-time parents, former foster care parents, former foster youth parents. And so we thought, this is where the court wants to invest. As you indicated, we want to do early prevention, early engagement, really stabilizing the family early on. The science tells us that children's brains are developing so quickly between the ages of 0 to 3. And if the court can play a role in stabilizing those families, helping those children's brains to continue to develop in a healthy way, we feel like the court can make the biggest impact in this particular population. And we feel very fortunate to be working here.
I have to say that I probably never in my life felt the most vulnerable than I did in my son's first year of life. Just, and I've only had one. Vulnerable is the perfect word to describe that sense of fear every day. Just you're unsure about most moves you make. And so to have a court system acknowledge that reality that everybody feels, I think is so, so very important. I appreciate your point. Tana, you work directly with the families going through a Hope Court process. What's it been like for you and for the families that you really help to serve?
Great question, Supervisor Mitchell. I always believe that it takes a village to raise children. And I was raised with that same mindset as well too. Like if you can be a support, then be a support. And truthfully, I don't think many of us would be here today without that village, right? With whether it's family, mentors, teachers, neighbors, faith communities, um, people who stepped up at the right time to support you. And we all need that support in that way, especially our families here in our courtroom as well. I think that spirit really matters in this work. Families impacted by child welfare deserve that same kind of support. So for me, this role is deeply meaningful. As a social worker by trade, I came into this role from the Department of Children and Family Services. It really warms my social worker heart because every day I continue to help families connect to what happens in court, but what happens next in their real lives. So, and that can look like connecting families to parenting classes, therapy, recovery support, helping them understand the next steps of the court process, and even sometimes just listening, like you said, and helping them through that process. And for the children, it can be connecting them to soccer camps or summer camps and cheer classes, really helping them find places in the community to have that stability, and also still continue that community support that they have. So it's again been meaningful, and I get to do it in a place I grew up. I'm from Compton. My parents are from Compton. So, and it really lights up the conversations that I have with parents when I say, oh, I know this park when I was a kid, or I know that neighborhood. It creates that real connection. And I think in those moments we see each other. And so I'm just appreciative that the court sees the importance of meeting families where they are in this way, because I think it reflects a real understanding that families need support and access. Um, and yeah, again, it's just been really, really meaningful. So I'm grateful to be working with Judge Price, our attorneys, and our social workers in that way.
That's amazing. Judge Price, not all your colleagues on the bench have the privilege of having a China in their courtroom. That's unfortunate for them. Talk to us about, your conversations with your fellow members of the bench and bar, and what you tell them about the uniqueness of your court. How do we, sometimes have to debunk myths about the families you serve, the families I serve and represent. What do you tell them about your experience?
As you've mentioned, Tina is an invaluable resource, and she's the only one in LA County. But I think that shows this court's presiding Judge Tapia's commitment to really getting out into the community and building those bridges. For so long, county agencies and justice partners have worked to support the same families, but have done the work in silos. And so I think Tina's role has really helped bridge those conversations and get us all to the same table. And Tina is so great at that in the way that she's reached out into our community partners and said, hey, we are here to help and support. What type of programs do you have available for our families? And really bridging that gap with DCFS. For so long, DCFS and the court have worked together on these same problems, but not always with really great communication. So I want to give a special shout out to our Compton Carson DCFS office, because they have been true thought partners, but true action partners, where we came to them and we said, look, we as the court want to do better. We want to serve our families in a more thoughtful way. Here is Tina. She's willing to help provide resources, provide support for social workers, attend meetings, refer families to programs and services while they're in the courtroom to give that social worker momentum when they meet that family, because Tina's already started forming those relationships. And so My colleagues have been so supportive. They do such great work at Monterey Park as well. And I think the court's addition of a community coordinator in Tina is just another way that the court is trying to expand our service to the community. And in terms of debunking myths, I think there are these myths that the court is a place of punishment and shame. And we've worked really hard to try and dispel that myth, because we are here as a help and as a support for families. As you mentioned, this is such a vulnerable time for our children and our parents. And so we have really seen the Compton community show up and be open to the idea that the court can be a resource for help and support and rehabilitation and resilience and redemption, rather than the typical thoughts of, punishment and blame and shame, because we all accomplish so much more when we work together. So I think it's been just such a really beautiful demonstration of collaboration when we come together to try and support our families.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I'm glad you also debunked the kind of experience of the court, because I know LA County has worked very hard with the homeless court in my district in Redondo Beach, care court, the mental health court that's been in existence for decades. I remember touring the mental health court on the outskirts of downtown when I was in the legislature years and years ago. So you're right. I appreciate LA County being a partner and really figuring out how to truly be a partner and meet the unique needs of LA County residents. I'm glad you raised that point. Tina, you're going to get the last word about Hope Court. If you were to get on an elevator and there was someone on the elevator that said, "Oh, hello, nice to meet you. Tell me what you do and why it's important." In politics, we call it an elevator speech, where you have a finite amount of time to really sell it. What would you tell this perfect stranger about what makes you smile and what warms your heart about your job and why they should care? Give us your elevator speech about Hope Court.
I would say I work with some amazing leadership, amazing attorneys, amazing social workers that work day to day to support our families in care. We are out in the community. We go on things that we call field trips, Supervisor Mitchell, and we Judge Price goes as well too. But we visit the clinics that children attend to, the parenting classes, the regional centers that our children frequent. And we really want to know more about the community and really incorporate the community into the courtroom. So really our intention is to really support families so that they walk away without needing that court support and intervention after that. So I think the point of it is really to continue to thrive, for our families to continue to thrive, our children continue to thrive, and communities to continue to thrive. I'll probably stop the elevator and talk more, but that's my speech.
Perfect elevator pitch speech. Perfect elevator pitch speech. I appreciate you both for taking some time out of your day to join me. I hope you know that what I saw that day had profound impact on how I see my role as a board of supervisors, how I can partner with you, Judge Price. That's how the motion came to be. We'll continue to work with you all and DCFS to continue to rethink how we show up for families when they need us the most. So thank you for joining me and sipping my tea. It was great to share time with both of you. And I look forward to visiting you again and continuing to expand the good news of Hope Court all across LA County. Thank you for joining me today. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Wasn't that fabulous? Sometimes doing the work of government, local government, particularly at a time like this, can be very difficult because it feels like every turn there's another barrier being erected. But Hope Court for me was just a beautiful example of us getting it right And so I want to, I thank my colleagues in the board for supporting the motion to figure out how we move from pilot to permanence and expand it to other courts. You heard Judge Price talk about when they did the needs assessment. The need is much beyond what one courtroom can do. So I'm very excited about it. So before we wrap up today, let me talk to you a little bit about, what's going on in the 2nd District and what we're doing in our office. Every month we host our Racial Justice Learning Exchange, RGLE. The April event is entitled The Beat of Resilience, Resisting the Erasure of Diversity in the Arts. It's going to be at Yola, a beautiful facility. The Youth Orchestra of LA, that's run by LA Philharmonic in the great city of Inglewood in the 2nd District. So please sign up. It's on a Saturday. We try to alternate between weekday evenings and Saturdays to give people an opportunity. We know your work schedule and your busy family schedule. So I hope you'll come out and join us on Saturday, April 11th, to talk about and experience different art forms and to talk about and make sure that we're doing our part to make sure that erasure doesn't happen on our watch. I'm very glad to be partnering with the LA Philharmonic for this interactive dance, poetry, and music making event. It's going to be a stone gas, as Don Cornelius would say it on Soul Train. So thank you. Thank you for joining Sippin My Tea. I hope that you shared it with your social media friends so everybody could learn about Hope Court and what we're doing in the 2nd District. Until next month, happy sipping tea.